I'll move further with my presentation. Okay. So my presentation follows smart city concept as you have taken the poll. Now I'm going to discuss first about smart cities. What are smart cities? And this is only a basic and little bit advanced. So I have touched upon both. Starting, I'll be going with the basics because many people are not fully aware about the minor or the at micro level, what are all smart cities. And also, as I move further in my presentation, I move little bit advanced about the smart cities. Okay. Then second part, I'm going to talk on smart sustainable cities. And then in the third, I'm going to talk on key performance indexes. Okay, key performance indexes in the sense, see, every year the city is going to improve upon. That means how I'm going to measure the smartness and also sustainability aspects with respect to indicators. So that is smart sustainable city indicators. That is key performance indicators. Then I'm going to give some examples on smart sustainable cities. Then there will be a summary. And if time permits, one of the project students of BTech Presidency University, they have done one project on conceptual sustainable and smart locality, Hebbal locality in Bengaluru. They have created one beautiful video. If that is possible, lastly, I'm going to show that one. So as you know, you have taken a poll and then all of you are given your response. As I mentioned, yeah, there are 4. And then here I'm going to connect that, how exactly they are connecting to one another. You can look into this figure over here. So is it, Navinata, is it blocking that one, my screen? Something? No? Hello?
No, the video that you were...
No,
nothing is blocking, no?
Nothing is blocking, sir.
Because in my screen, there is a black strip is coming at the down, and that's why I wanted to ask you. Nothing, no?
Sir, it is blocking. Ma'am, it is blocking. Yes, it is blocking, sir. Yeah. I see a strip in the bottom as well as...
Yeah. That is how to remove that. I don't know.
Sir, can you close the video that you were playing
hide
earlier?
Video panel. Okay, now it is not going.
I can still see the bottom one, bottom panel.
Yeah.
Sir,
if we stop it and it will stop there, I think stop share.
Yes, sir. Stop share and reshare it again. Probably that will solve your issue. Yeah.
Let me see. I don't think so. Something going on. Now also same case, no?
Yes, sir. Same thing.
I don't know why it is happening.
Sir, you had that video playing in the background. Have you closed it?
No, it is not playing, I think so.
Okay. So we have a suggestion.
One second. Let me give me. Yeah. Most probably that is the one which is video in the background.
Yeah. Close the
now
video.
It might be fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me check now. Sorry. Now still it is coming.
So could you reshare it?
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, now I am talking about the traditional cities, and then this is how the traditional cities, the 4 components, dimensions I have talked about. That is city as an economic system, city as a social system, city as a political system, and city as a technological system. How they are interacting, that almost all they are interacting. You can look into this figure over here, then definitely you will understand this better. Okay, then moving further, then I'll come to the smart city concept. In the smart city concept, actually, as I mentioned, and also you have taken the poll, it only deals with sustainability aspect in two way, social and economic. We are more concerned about the economic, that is the business proper side, and also the health of the people or social aspects, not totally environmental aspects. Okay, that means it is focused more on involving the technology. It is a system integration, that is a physical infrastructure with the ICT, that is the information communication technology, that what we are integrating, and then we are making our urban utilities more effective and efficient. So in that way, and then that is what we need to go for one step ahead, that is smart sustainable cities. Okay, that means now in this case here is that no doubt in the that I'm going to explain in detail when I move on to that smart sustainable cities, how exactly it goes. But now the smart cities is only we are using the modern technology to make our utilities, urban utilities, more effective and efficient. Okay, with respect to socio and economic sustainability. Okay, then moving further, smart cities, if you see the definition, it is nothing but it is a connected devices. We talk about a lot about IoT. Okay, then we talk about big data. Big data means it is real-time data. When you are connecting all these smart city frameworks, then ultimately at every instant the data is generated. That is the data volume of data is big volume and vast volume of data, and that too verity and velocity. It is very high and rate and velocity is more. So from that, we required a lot of adequate storage, processing, analysis, and public availability. That is how the smart city works. Okay, again, if you differentiate between smart city and traditional city, that is the only the data layer in between. In both the cities, we are having the infrastructure and service. Okay, but only thing is here, the data, that data is very important here. So data is in nothing but how you are going to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of our utilities. It is because you are monitoring the data. Now, after that, you can retrieve that data, you can analyze that data. It will give you the first-hand information, what exactly went wrong, how went wrong, and all those things. That is the beauty of the smart city. At any given instant, you can, because it's continuously generating the data, where in the traditional city, we don't have any option. So then continuous services are going on. Just like I'm giving an example of this online class and offline class. In the offline class, we are teaching, okay, but we are never recorded. But in the online class now we are teaching and we are recording. So after this, once my class is over, I can play back and I can analyze where I went wrong and all those things. The same concept with this smart city. Okay, that means now we are continuously monitoring this data. Okay, yeah.
Sorry for interrupting, but a lot of participants are saying they cannot see part of the slide because of the blockage.
Bottom, no, nothing is there inside. That below that, nothing is there.
No, previous slides also they missed out few points. So can we try that whole screen sharing option once again? I'll just guide you through it, sir. It takes only a second. Can you stop sharing the screen now?
No, I stop. Okay.
Stop sharing the screen, sir. Open the PPT.
I stopped sharing the screen. Okay.
Open your PPT.
The PPT is open. No, I want to make it full. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Yes,
okay. I got it now.
Now
I think slideshow mode. Okay.
Sir, one second. Next is
okay.
Go to the share screen option and click first option.
Screen option. Then I got it now. Now I got it.
Yes.
Now it is not coming. Something wrong is going on. I don't know.
Navita, can you get the PPT mailed so that we can share that?
Okay, sorry for one and all, some technical hitch over here. So I'm discussing about the smart city. That is the difference between smart city and the traditional city. Is the only difference is the data, as I have given the examples of online and offline classes, where actually in any urban utilities, where we can improve its effectiveness and efficiency, looking back to what went wrong and all those things in the previous case. So that is the one thing. And then another thing is, we'll move on to the smart city frameworks. Here, we are going to have, as per the Jeffinger, there are 6 smart city frameworks: smart economy, smart people, smart governance, smart mobility, smart environment, and smart living. So for me, this is how we are going to make the smart governance participation of the people, and then how we can make more effective and efficient transportation using ICT and all those things. But for me is that here system integration, how I can define a smart city: system integration of technological infrastructure, that is ICT, that relies on advanced data processing with goals of making city governance more efficient, citizen happier, business more prosperous, and environment more sustainable. So this is how exactly we need to make. But one thing I'll tell you, just by connecting to the devices or installing the sensors or getting the data is not going to make the city smart. It is, the city will become smart when the people participate in it, when we process that data, we learn a lesson from that data, and the next time we improve upon the services. So that is why the data processing is the main soul of this smart city. Okay. So now, how actually the smart city works? As I mentioned, it is the integration of ICT with physical infrastructure. I'm going to discuss about the 2 types of environment. One is built environment. We talk about built environment. That means now the cities means built environment, because we are not in the field or in the forest where the natural environment, naturally happening everything. But actually now in the urban environment means it is a built environment. That means how we are going to, in the built environment, as I mentioned, we are having many utilities, whether it is the water supply or sanitation or drainage systems or energy supply or the connectivity. So whether connectivity and that mobile connectivity or even mobility, transportation, these are all be the part of the smart city. Then ultimately, see here, when we are talking about built environment, how we are going to make it more environment, economical sustainability, and also in addition to that, environmental sustainability. That is what is known as the physical environment. So this physical environment, we need to connect to our ICT, information communication technology, and then for what purpose? To improve the quality of life. To whom? That is society. That is society in large. Who are all doing that? It is nothing but it is a skilled manpower. It is a technology, and then it is also a governance. Okay, who is doing this? It is the government in the form of governance. So that is the third is the governance, and then ultimately in the governance, what we are doing? City administration. That is an urban local body, ULB or a city municipal corporation. Then you are going to have the different services, that is public services, as I'm talking about. So in the public services, as I already mentioned, transportation, public safety, health, social services, and many more things. Okay, housing, water, energy, these are all, we call them as utilities in urban area. So in that way, this is who is looking at, is the government. Now, this is the system integration of physical infrastructure with the ICT, where for reason is just to make all these services effective and efficient. Okay. So moving further, then we'll be having exactly how we are going to say this city is a smart city. It all depends upon where we are investing, what we are investing. Investing in the sense, see, we are investing in the human and social capital, and also we are going to invest in the traditional infrastructure. Traditional infrastructure is the domain of civil engineers. Okay, and human and social capital is the domain of human resources. Okay, then ultimately this disruptive technology that is now adding to that, that is to collect that data. As I shown you the 2 layers, in between 2 layers, there is a data layer. So that means now this disruptive technology we are going to use. Okay, that means for what purpose we are doing this? Fuel sustainable economic growth. And then also high quality of life. how we say that smart city are going to provide me the high quality of life? A simple example. So that means now, for example, in Bengaluru, traffic congestion, 2 hours. Okay. Now, if I am able to reduce that within half an hour, I'm able to move from one corner of Bengaluru to other corner within 30 minutes. Is not the quality of life? Okay. That is how we are actually make these smart cities are finding the resources technologically, and then at a given instant, they are finding the solutions at instant. We need not to wait. If there is an alternative route, definitely it will be shown, and then ultimately, because that any data we are collecting, that is from anywhere, it will go to this command control center. From the command control center, I can control everything at my fingertips. So in that way, because I know all the options, technologically I have connected throughout the city. I know I can explore all the options over there. That is how, again, with respect to wise management of natural resources. Now you think about the food and then think about the inventory of goods movement and all those things. So unnecessarily we are many of the food products and everything is spoiled during its transportation, and in addition to that, unnecessarily we are exploring the natural resources where it is not wanted also. In that way, this is possible. How? Participatory governance. What do you mean by participatory governance here? The participatory governance here in the sense involving the people. That I'm going to talk in detail, how I can improve the governance and then how I can make the people to participate in my governance. So with this, actually, if you think the smart city is going to have what is known as the 3 goals. As I mentioned, 3 goals, but actually the smart city, as I mentioned, till I'm of the opinion, smart city is not going to touch this 3rd goal, ecological footprint, sustainability, to the extent what we expect. But it is emphasizing more on economic growth and quality of life, a good city to live in. So, but when you start smart city, then there are challenges. Okay, then people will say that means when you are everything you are atomizing, everything you're connecting, then ultimately the people are going to lose the job. No people are going to lose the job over here. The people are not going to lose the job, only it's the skill set changes. Okay, here the skill set changes. There is no unemployment here. The unemployment, we cannot call it as an unemployment. You are become unemployment because your skill sets have become obsolete. So now you need to upgrade. You need to upgrade to the changing time. The change is the only constant. So that is why there are some challenges. Again, there will be when already Government of India has announced 100 smart cities, if they have really flourished in a way that they should have given, then there will be a war, there will be a talent war. Means the skilled people, these 100 cities, then they are pulling each other, the talented people. That is one thing we need to address. That is another challenge. Then cohesion, inclusiveness, and solidarity. Yeah, that is the cohesion and inclusiveness, because in the urban area, you see all strata of people, all category of people, all level of people are going to be there. But how we are going to take care of all those things, all those people? That is cohesion, inclusiveness, and solidarity. And in addition to that, yeah, as already mentioned, every device is connected. When every device is connected, everything is digital. Okay, that means there is a cyber security threat. Okay, then ultimately that is secure digital environment. Privacy is very important. That means how we are going to address this. This is also very important. And then third challenge, fifth challenge is resilience. Resilience means, that means any untoward incident happens, will come back immediately, bounce back immediately. Floods happens, immediately we should come, that means the city should come back to normal level. So in that way, that means we have to make the cities resilience using this technology. This is how, suppose then there is a connectivity. Now we are talking about the communication lines and then connectivity lines, they're disrupted. But how will immediately will restore back and how will connect? That is what is the resilience. These are the challenges. That means now the goals, these 3 goals of the smart city, how we are going to attain them. In the sense, enabling disruptive technology. So now we are going to use this disruptive technology and social innovations. That means I will explain those disruptive and technologies and social innovations now. So these are your disruptive and social innovation technologies we really need to look into. As you see, the Internet of Things, that we are connecting every devices here. IOE we call that. We are not calling as IoT. We are calling is that IOE, Internet of Everything in smart city. Then you will have social robotics and sharing economy, big data, artificial intelligence. They are cloud. We call them as disruptive technologies. We are using them in the smart city. And this side, we are having the social innovations. Now we talk about drones. Now we are, especially in the pandemic, we are using drones to monitor the people movement. Even now we are using the drones to supply the goods or things in a remote places. Now we are talking about renewable energy. That is actually solar energy, wind energy, all those things. Then now everybody is talking about 3D printing. Yeah, everyone is talking about 3D printing, which is going to make the life successful for everyone. So that means you are going to just print anything anywhere like a printer using printer. So that is how that technology even in the nascent stage, but in a days to come, it will go ahead. It will come in a faster way. Then crowdsourcing, then blockchain. These are all the supply chain, how we can maintain. That is, I'm talking about how we can move the goods very effectively and efficiently, and all those things. Then mobile. No, you see, that's mobile is now the one of the thing everywhere. You can have that. You can do anything with the mobile. So that is the one of the wave of technology. Okay. Then co-creation. Co-creation is very, very important, especially you talk about this pandemic. So that means now the people participation and the government, if they are come together and then they come to a final decision, that is what is called a co-creation. The co-creation is very, very important. That we talk about the government 3.0, GOE 3.0, we talk about that is in co-creation, and then self-organization. So these are all comes under the social innovations. Now, when we are having the social innovation and then the disruptive technologies, then you effectively using, then ultimately we are going to have this smart city actually in reality, or otherwise the smart city is only on the paper. Okay, now when you talk about the benefits, you may say, what are the benefits? And anyway, traditional cities, what additional benefits these smart cities are going to give when you compare the traditional cities with the smart cities? No, actually, first benefit is the faster reaction to public safety threats. Because see, everything you are collecting the data, but we are not using, that is the other part. Actually, if you are make the system robust, make the system transparent, make the system clear, so that means you can catch anyone at any given instant, any untoward incidents happen. Okay, that is why still we are in government 03. It is happening. But if you go to government 04, means everything, even that including decision, now still the decision is with the man. So that is the subjective. That is why we are not getting the decisions implemented in a right or honest way. But when we go to the government 4.0, where the machine is going to, that is the robots and all those, they want to take the charge, then ultimately this is going to become in reality. Then again, the smoothen the distribution of tourists. Now, definitely, when a new entrant come to a city, then if we nowadays you'll go through entire thing in app. That is how. That is one type of the use of this smart city only. So, or Bengaluru, wherever you want to go, he can look into that apps. There are so many apps are there. He can easily move on. So again, the exchanging of products and services. Then definitely these public litigation groups, that is public interest groups. We talk about public interest group. They can safeguard the city interest as well as the public interest, because they are having the well-known data and everything there in their hand. Okay. Then co-creation, as is well, that means the decision making becomes very easy because participatory governance. People are coming. That means you are voting. Just now at the starting of this class, this lecture, I asked you to give the poll. Based on the poll result, I can change my presentation. I can talk on that lines, isn't it? That is what is known as the feedback system. That is how the participatory governance is going to help us. Then the data-driven makes more focused, definitely, because we are not going to commit the same mistakes and again, because data is there. Then using that, analyzing that data, I'll be knowing what exactly went wrong and then how we can rectify that. So same case with the healthcare. You can diagnose the people, the patients and all those things. Okay, then you are having the reduce the congestion of the traffic, optimal use of transportation infrastructure. Then you can implement in the energy conservation and energy saving. You can on time, real time, you can monitor where the energy losses is going on. That is, I'm talking with a sense that everything in place, everything in place. You don't compare now with present situation, but if you are really implementing the smart city concepts everywhere, then definitely we are going to reap the fruits of that. Okay. Then responsive household appliances react to the dynamic energy prices. Yeah, this is very important. Now you can it is in your hand when you want to use your home appliances at a peak period, peak load, or at a slack load. When you are going to use the slack load, definitely your bill will be reduced. This is another advantage. That is how you can make the people, encourage the people, so that if in the peak period, that means the energy demand is high. That is demand side management we talk about. Then more efficient waste collection due to sensors. Yeah, this is what is happening. Community bin. Then people are complaining since 15 days, no vehicle has come to my lane to collect the solid waste. Okay, in the traditional way of collection, because it is the will and wish of the driver and the vehicle driver, he can go anywhere. But it is not like that. If it is really implemented, that means each and every community bins, once it is full, immediately it will send the signals, it will go to this thing, and route has been already created. Optimized route is created. That means in that case, every community bins will be visited properly, and then the distance traveled by the vehicle is very less, because it is going to select an optimum route. And there are many multiple advantages we are going to reap, especially environmental benefit here. That is, now fuel is going to be reduced, then noise pollution is reduced, air pollution is reduced. There are so many benefits are going to happen. Okay, in this way, these are all the visible results of the smart city. Now for whom actually the smart city is all about? Smart city, the center is the citizens. Every smart city should be citizen centric, and rest is surrounded by all your stakeholders. These are all the stakeholders. You can read all the stakeholders, and the center is the citizen or a user. Okay, you can take anyone at the periphery. They're all the stakeholder, including the citizen. He is also a stakeholder of the smart city. But how they interact with each other, in what way? That means now the technology is going to make it is very smart, and it is useful in an effective way. Okay, now we talk about one thing we have to remember: smart city comes under local government. It is urban local body or the municipal corporations. They are the main people. Under them, and then now in order to implement this smart city, we have got a special purpose vehicle, that is SPV, that is created, because we need to coordinate with many organizations. If it is left to the municipal corporations, then they cannot coordinate with other organizations involved. That is why every smart city has created one organization, and it is going to work like an industry. So that is why the head of that SPV is called as MD, okay, or CEO, Chief Executive Officer. So that means at the level of IS officer, and he is the person who is responsible for execution of smart city projects in that particular smart city. So that means now, prior to the submission of the applications for the getting recognized as a smart city, this actually each and every corporations have to apply for that. That is already done in 2015, and then that 5 years term is also over. That is a different story. But if any urban local body want to make or transfer its traditional city into a smart city, what are the roles they have to play? First is strategist and advocate. It is not only strategy, only making strategy and keeping quiet, mom, but we have to advocate. We have to take it forward. So then we have to become solution enabler. We are not solution blocker. So that means we have to build an ecosystem by gathering parties that normally do not work together. Coordination. It should have a very effective coordination. Then there will be a stewardship. It has to take a lead. Then it should be innovator and investor. So whatever small innovation has happened in the city, they must be able to implement that, and they should encourage the innovators. They have to invest in that. We talk about incubating center and all those things. Then we'll be having they are the directors and regulators. Yes, definitely. They are doing both the responsibility. They are direct everything what to do, and also they regulate as per the policy and rules and regulations. Then in the business or anything, it is there. Then connector and protectors. Yeah. So they secure modern transport, as I mentioned, cyber security. Though now we are connecting each and everything. They are connector and then protector means cyber security they have to provide. So, and then also they have to take care of making the cities resilient and safe. So in this way, these 6 roles they have to play. And then if the ULB is playing 6 roles, what citizens are playing? They are also playing 6 roles. Actually, if every citizen want his city or her city want to become a smart city, his role is very, very important. And especially these 6 roles are important. What is that? First is vote. You have to vote first to elect a very good person. Then taxpayer, you have to pay the tax, because how you're going to make the city traditional city into a smart city. Then local resident. So in the sense, local residents, you have to keep your environment clean and green, and you have to contribute in that way. Then partner, you have to partner in the administration and in the policy making with your urban local body. You have to in that way. Then subject, as an individual, you have to obey rules and regulation, safety, laws, everything. Okay. Then customer, as a customer, you expect good quality of service. So, okay, good information, everything. Again, in that way, as a good customer, you have to be there. These are the 6 roles of the citizens. Okay. Then we'll be having, there are 7 capability models or capability dimensions. That is 3 goals, 3 challenges. In addition to that, actually, we talk about how exactly these 7 capability dimensions of smart city framework are going to be implemented. First one is strategy and vision. It should be very clear and transparent. And then we must have a technology to implement that. Okay, then in order to use that technology, we need a skilled manpower, competency that we need to develop. So that means if you want to develop that competency, we need an innovation culture. Okay, then ultimately we can attract the people, talented people to that. And then public-private ecosystem is need to be developed, because everything cannot be done by the government. That means we need to encourage the partners, PPP mode, public-private partnership mode. Then there will be data. Data is the main. Say one thing you have to remember, smart city is based on the data, the reliable data, authentic data. So that is very, very important. So in addition to that, who are all the main people who are going to accelerate the growth of smart city in India is nothing but government. Government means all 3 governments, local, state, and central. Then business people means local business people as well as the industrial people. Then knowledge partners, it is the schools, colleges, universities, because these are the people who are going to provide skill and competencies to the people. And then you are going to have citizens and other users. Citizens, because see, smart city is citizen centric. Citizens must be smart, they must be aware, they must be able to participate, they must be able to contribute in all the smart, whether it is mobility, safety, health, education, finance, manufacturing, anything, it is there, they have to there. Okay. So that means how the smart city development takes place and what are the different stages of smart city development. So actually, as I mentioned, smart city, any city cannot be developed or transferred into a smart city at a given instant. Immediately, we talk about the maturity. That means we talk about these, whatever the capability models, 8 we have talked about, those 8 cannot mature at one go, isn't it? That is maturity model we need to study. So now in that strategy and vision, projects and solutions, data, technology, skills and competency, attractiveness, openness, and ecosystem, they may not be available in each and every city. Okay. So that means we need to find out. That is why I mentioned about the role of ULB. Role of ULB, they have to be director, they have to be regulator, they have to be inventor, they have to be connectors. So that means how? That means now they have to visualize and then where they are lagging in this maturity model. So that means whether the strategy vision is there, projects and solutions, and then do they have the technology, and do they have the competent manpower to head that. So in that way, and then ecosystem need to develop. So that is why there will be 4 stages. That is initial stage, intentional stage, integral stage, transform stage. Okay, that means now this is every city is in initial stage. You can talk, that means now every city will be in initial stage. From initial stage, we need to move on to the what is known as the transformed stage. We need to move here. If you want to move here, then ultimately you need to make everything available at your city at the required level. Okay, that means intentional. You have to, that means whether data or technology. Okay, you have to make all these things integral. Okay, then you'll be having more growth. Okay, then you will having a transforming mind. So that means at any cost, I'm going to implement whatever the projects. That means you are going to devise a projects and also provide a solution to that challenging projects. So in that way, so it is totally based on skill and competence, technology. Okay, if these 2 things are there, then ultimately I can generate the data, I can complete my projects, I can move from initial to the transformation stage. Okay, now up till now what I discussed about only smart cities. Now I'll move on to the smart sustainable cities. As I mentioned, smart cities are going to take care about only 2 sustainability factors, that is social and economic. But they are not taking that much, emphasizing that much on environmental. So now, whereas in case of smart sustainable cities, here we are talking about more, that means towards environment. In addition to social and economic, we are also giving more emphasis on environment. Now, in this case, smart sustainable city is an no doubt innovative city that uses ICT as it is used by smart city also. For what purpose it uses? Improve the quality of life, efficiency of urban operations and services, and competitiveness. Okay, for what purpose and how it is going to use now here? If you compare smart city with the smart sustainable city, here it is going to use within the purview of 3 dimensions of sustainability. So that means it is going to imbibe or it is going to have in their framework the sustainable development concept, that is the meeting the needs of the present without compromising the future generation needs and their abilities. So that is social, economic, and environmental. And also it is incorporating one additional parameter, that is cultural aspects. So that is why this is more superior as compared to smart cities, smart sustainable cities. Okay, as you know here, so I'm talking about how exactly we're going to set the framework for smart cities. So that is, first is urban planning, policy standards regulation, key performance indicator, KPI. So these KPIs are very, very important. Actually, if you want to see the growth, as in the previous slide I mentioned, initial stage to transformation stage, any city want to move, then ultimately this KPI rigorously, religiously, and then transparently, if we are able to monitor these KPIs, then ultimately we'll be knowing at every given stages how the city is progressing. Then definitely we can reach the growth from traditional to the smart, even smart sustainable, whatever the time frame we have taken. So in that way, so that means connecting cities and communities. Yeah, that means this city belongs to me. Communities means the people, group of people. So that is why in that we are going to have 3 categories: smart living, smart mobility, smart environment. We need to create this atmosphere of smart living, smart mobility. That is, take for example of Bengaluru traffic congestions. So smart mobility, it is the physical movement, or even we talk about the mobile communication. That is also, we need to improve upon that. Then smart environment means definitely it is the good quality of air to breathe in, good quality of water to drink in, and hygienic conditions. We know that 80% of the diseases are due to bad sanitation and bad water quality. So that is how exactly we can improve upon our surroundings and smart environment. Then enhancing innovation and participation. Yeah. Who has to do this? This is nothing but smart governance, the people. that is, I'm going to discuss that how exactly the smart governance is all about, how we can use the technology in subsequent slides. Okay, then smart people, we need to educate the people. We need to not educate only, we need to make them understand and make them realize and make them change their mindset. It is attitudinal change is required over here. Then smart economy. Yeah, smart economy, now it is actually, if you see our cities are economic oriented, they are not smart economy. Means we want development, we want environment, we want sustainability. But now actually we need to go for economy in such a way that we have to use the cleaner development mechanisms, cleaner development technologies in the manufacturing things and all those things. We have to imbibe the reuse, reduce and recycle cultures. And then we try to use the use less natural resources for any other purpose. We try to reuse and recycle the available reused materials. That is how the economy, smart economy can be there. So ultimately, it is an approach which seeks reconcile human needs and the capacity of the environment. See, one thing I always remember, you people, everyone, see, environment has got a tremendous capacity to give you the resources and also to assimilate the whatever the waste you can throw. It is a tremendous capacity, but not an infinite capacity. It has got a finite capacity. When it is a finite capacity, is overburdened, definitely we are noticing all these problems. That is why I'm talking about here. We need an approach which seeks reconcile human needs. What are our needs? That basic needs, excluding basic needs, what additional needs are there? And then we need to it is a finite capacity. And also we need to understand this our economic, that is uncivilized way of we are having the economic systems. Okay, that means consequences of that. In that way, we are going to have some setting up the industries or anything. The industries are required. We are not against the industries. We are not against the development. But at the same time, we need to make all these ecosystem, that economic systems, almost compatible to ecosystems. In the sense, whatever the liquid waste you are discharging or your air flue gases. Okay, then ultimately you have to develop a technology wherein your production process should improve. It should be cleaner development technology, and otherwise you need to go for the treatment processes effectively. That is what is how we can reduce the consequences of economic systems. So in this way, as you know, there are 17 sustainable goals given by the United Nations. Among that, 11th. Number 11th is a sustainable goal that speaks about or talks about make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. This is what we are talking about. Okay, that means if you are able to make smart, sustainable cities, then definitely it is going to comply with the Sustainable Development Goal 11. Okay, that means if we want to develop this, we want to meet this SDG 11, then actually we have to go for design for smart, sustainable cities. That is, we need to plan at micro level. Each and every cities in the planning stage only. We need to plan at micro level what materials, what process we are using, and then what is their life cycle. After life cycle, what happens? Okay, that how it comes back to the environment, and then whether it's going to have an impact, bad impact on the environment, adverse impact on the environment. In that way, we need to think. That is why here I'm giving more space. See, you look into this, here I'm giving more space for planning. So actually we need to plan. So once you plan, you have to design according to the plan. Then ultimately that whatever the service impacts is there, that will be less. So this is this policy, design for smart sustainable cities. We have to follow this type of design. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, the smart sustainability cities indicators. As I mentioned, I talk about the 3 dimensions of sustainability: environment, economy, and then social. So I'm going to have a sub indicators here. You can have indicators, basics. These are the basic needs. So with respect to environment, I need to control air pollution in my city. Then greenhouse gas emissions I have to reduce. Okay, then quality of drinking water I have to supply as per the standards. Then water consumption, I have to see to it that how minimum water requirement is there, how I'm going to supply it. Then again, wastewater, how I'm going to keep up the sanitation conditions. Then exposure to noise, minimizing noise, especially residential areas less than 40 decibels. Then compliance to World Health Organization exposure limits, whatever the products I'm using, the radiations, you take for example your mobile and all those things in that way. And then adoption of consistent planning approval process with respect to EMF, that is now electromagnetic forces in that way. That means now smart city, we are using technology, all technology. That is there any effect? As we are seeing the mobile towers, there is radiation. We know the sparrows are not visible in the cities. So that is what at this level we have to go, at micro level. Then solid waste management. Okay, then recycling of solid waste management. We try to segregate at the source itself. So we must have that technology, and then actually we really want to implement or execute it. It's not only on talking, but actually we are going to do it in that way. Then you are going to have a green areas and public spaces. So you see the Bengaluru, why Bengaluru once upon a time is called as the air-conditioned city, because a good green cover, and there are almost 200 lakes, very good quality lakes. They are the natural air conditioners. Where are they now? That is why it's a green area and public spaces. Then we're going to have we try to go for renewable energy consumption rather than conventional energy consumption. Again, in electricity consumption per capita, how we can minimize it or without compromising the quality of life. That means where the technology plays an important role. Then access to improved water source. Okay, then we'll be having a proportion of city population with potable water supply. Now you think about about 50 lakhs people are getting only 1500 mld of water per day. How it is in that way, but how much water is actually reaching the citizens? In that way, we have to talk. As I mentioned, where these green spaces and blue spaces have gone in Bengaluru. That means these are the two spaces which have brought the name of air-conditioned city to Bengaluru. Now they are diminishing, they are deteriorating. That's why that name is going out. Okay, it is in that way. We need to look into that. Then again, if you come to the advanced, if you satisfy these basic needs of the indicators, then ultimately what are the advanced with respect to environment? That is native species monitoring. Yes. Local species, flora and fauna. They are the one who are going to make their environment robust and pristine and all those things. So now protected natural areas, that is what the simple example is. Protected natural area, 200 lakes of Bengaluru, where they are gone. Most of them have converted into some settlements. Okay, because of that, we are going to face so many problems. So then drainage system management, that is very important. Then air pollution monitoring systems to measure. That means Bengaluru has got so many air pollution monitoring systems. But what next? It is only installing monitoring systems, or we need to take that data, we need to implement, we need to analyze that data, we need to implement what next, how can we reduce the air pollution, we can identify the source easily, can we are doing that. Then public building energy consumption, then make all public buildings solar rooftop harvesting. So that means when I talk about these indicators, they are not only the tools to evaluate performance. Okay, actually, when you analyze these tools, using these tools, analyze these indicators, it is going to provide you an insight. Okay, what exactly went wrong? What concrete measures we can take to improve upon that? Okay, again, in the second case here that, so tool to monitor cities progress. As I mentioned, how was in Bengaluru in 2020, how it will be in 2021. When you monitor these two, using these tools, then definitely you will be knowing the data, then you can easily compare, and then evidence is there, then ultimately you can say it is improving in this SDGs. So no need to worry about that. Okay, then again, smart city, smart sustainable city indicators cannot be considered as troubleshooting. That means now the people are saying that, okay, if you are monitoring, if it is adverse results are coming, then we are blaming. That is not the case. Actually, these tools are there for our educative purpose, for our improvement in that way, and especially to meet SDG, international goals, that is international commitment 2030. So 2030, we need to meet those SDG goals as given by United Nations. Okay, then we'll move on to the second dimension of sustainability, economy. Again, in the economy is nothing but you are generating the wealth. Okay, how you are going to generate the wealth, how your ICT is going to improve to generate the wealth. Okay, that is if you look into the internet access, household with computers, fixed bandwidths, availability of smart water meters. See, for example, availability of smart water meters. Now, definitely it is going to improve the wealth of the municipalities, availability of smart water meters. That is how actually the increase that's using that ICT, that is smart meters, definitely it is bringing more money to the treasury of the ULB, then ultimately the economy of that is going to be increased. Okay, then availability of smart electricity meters, then real-time transport information, definitely real-time transport information will be there. It is definitely is going to give the productivity of the people also increases. In that way, they are not going to waste their time idling in the bus stops and all those things. Then R&D expenditures, the productivity, and then patents, then employment rate is going to increase. Then in addition to that, how we can improve this, how this infrastructure, development of infrastructure, how we can minimum, with using minimum money or with at minimum cost, we can develop the infrastructure. So whether it is a public transportation network or public building sustainability, wastewater collection systems, okay, in all the things we need to access electricity, solid waste collection and everything. In that way, we need to go for this. Okay, then we'll move on to the what is known as the economy. So in advanced stage, when you go for advanced stage, that is now ICT drainage monitoring. So when you are monitoring drainage systems, especially in the low-lying area of the city, then we can have a forecasting, we can have warning systems developed so that we can save a lot of lives, and also the property, damage to the property, belongingness can be shifted. So, okay, that is how the ICT in drainage monitoring system, ICT in noise monitoring, that means you can make the control the noise monitoring, you can identify the source from where it is coming. When you're continuously monitoring, you can easily identify the source and then you can minimize that. Then water supply ICT monitoring. Yeah, in water distribution network, if you are able to insert the sensors and continuously monitor, you can monitor two aspects. One is quality as well as quantity. Okay, that means if you are going to able to measure the pressure between the two given points, then definitely it's give rise to, if there is any leakage and all those things, that is a reduction in the pressure at the two given instant, and ultimately that is going to monitor the quantity. Then quality, if there is any cross contamination, then cross contamination, you are monitoring the various water quality parameters. There definitely you will identify. That means you are going to pinpoint exactly which area where you can easily identify, you can immediately rectify. That is how you are going to get the economy. That means how much money you are going to save, and it is again intangible. Suppose if there is outbreak of cholera or jaundice, you can immediately plug. That means how many lives you are going to save. That can be counted in terms of money. So in that way, electricity supply system management using ICT. So that means now there will be a lot of thefts and all those things in the electricity lines and all those things that we can remove. Then clean energy transportation. Then traffic monitoring we can do. Then open data. Then we'll be having e-public service options. Then labor productivity we can increase. Then small medium enterprises, we can improve their productivity using this cleaner development technology or advanced technology. Creative industry employment, tourism and industry employment. Then water supply loss we can reduce. That is, we can design that distribution network systems. Then sporting facilities, okay, stadiums and all those things for physical education and all those things. Then definitely this is very important, pedestrian infrastructure. So actually that is the difference between smart city and a smart sustainable city. The smart sustainable city always encourage NMT, non-motorized transport. So that is non-motorized transport is nothing but bicycle lanes as well as pedestrian walkways. So these are very, very important. In this way, how exactly we can do infrastructure we can develop. So now coming to the last one here is society and cultural, education, health and culture. So in that case, education students, ICT, as we are doing now, almost online classes now. Okay, then even adult literacy you can have, then school enrollment, higher education, now everything is going on. whether your admissions or whether you are tutoring or coaching or lecturing. So everything is now the part of that. Okay. So electronics, health records. Okay. Then you will have life expectancy. Then model that you are going to have. Definitely, when you are improving the quality of living, then it leads to the life expectancy. Then the connect to the doctor, as I mentioned in one of my slides there. Then safety and housing and social inclusion. Housing expenditure you can minimize. Then information security, privacy, protection, home automation. So then informal settlements can be removed. That is informal settlement, that is a slum, that you can go for affordable housing schemes. So then you're going to have reduce the poverty. These are all comes under society and culture. Then in the education, advanced cultural infrastructure. Now we talk about NEP 2020, where there is no silos between engineers, doctors, or management and all those things. You can take any courses. That is again cultural resources online, inpatient hospital beds, then health insurances, then protected culture, heritage sites, food security monitoring, surveillance, food aid. So they all comes under the advanced society and culture. Okay. Then safety, housing and social inclusion, resilience plans, emergency service responses, natural disaster related, that is district okay, or city management, disaster management plan, disaster related economic losses, disaster emergency alerts. So that means now when we are having this ICT, then ultimately here, then if you are able to monitor it and if you are able to record it, that data definitely you are going to have it in that way. Then you are going to have a police presence, then child online protections. These are all the things required in this way. Hello, I am going okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. So service provided by green and blue infrastructure, as I mentioned about the air conditioning of the Bengaluru city. So green refers to green cover and blue refers to your lakes in that way. So if you look into that, this is possible through our smart, sustainable cities. Okay, microclimate regulation we can do, water regulation we can do, we can reduce the pollution, as I mentioned, these seamless transportation services and all those things. Then habitat, that means this green and blue, they are going to habitat many species, the wide diversity, biodiversity. Biodiversity, now it is, many of the species are extinguishing because of the water pollution in lakes, and then there is no trees in the cities. Okay, that means this habitat. So that means they are biodiversity, they are part of our ecosystem, and then ultimately there is a part of smart sustainable city. Then cultural, recreational, educational services. Okay, that means now we'll come to the role of ICT. As up till now, whatever I discussed, everywhere ICT is involved. Okay, without ICT, information communication technology, it is the sensors or whether it is the wireless communication or okay, then you are having a command control center. All these, they are the part of your ICT. Okay, information communication technology systems in that way. So they are playing a very important role, and then they are going to improve our indicators, whatever I discussed up till now. Yes, master plan for a smart sustainable city is a very, very important. Where both urban local bodies, means municipal corporations and state governments, they have to transforming cities to a smart sustainable cities. So that, as I mentioned, design for smart sustainable cities, they have to plan at micro level in planning stage only. Okay, implementation includes stages such as vision, master plan, roadmap, deployment. So it is the planning and it is the deployment. And once you are deployment, then it is follow. Especially in the smart city, it's a follow-up. Because one example I'm going to give here in the follow-up in the smart city, we do have a CCTV cameras everywhere. But when we need it, can we able to access the data of that? Can we retrieve the data? Can you analyze the data? Why we want to do that only when it is needed? Why it is not a continuous? There is a CC is there, central command control is there. That means if it is accessible, then immediately it should be accessible. Then if immediately it is happening, then that is how actually, that is why the deployment, no doubt, we may install 5,000, 10,000 CCTV cameras, but what is the follow-up action? That is why I'm talking about in the master plan, it's not only up to execution level, it is follow-up. That is very much important in order to really transform traditional cities into smart cities. Okay, city need guidance on implementation that promote efficient deployment, not only efficient deployment and efficient follow-up in addition to that. Okay, now we'll come to the KPIs, key performance indicators. As I mentioned, they are going to improve the urban functionalities, improve quality of life, ensure environmental, economic, and social sustainability. Then this, they are going to have an ability to identify, define, monitor their actions. Okay, smart and sustainable. Actually, why we need necessity of KPIs? Why we want key performance indicators? So based on these key performance indicators, it shows what data to collect, standardized data collection, shows gaps in the policy. So now you want to implement the new policy. Now, for example, now we talk about we are going to have electric vehicles. So now electrical vehicles and now the fossil fuel driven vehicles. Now I cannot have the same policy for electrical vehicles, isn't it? Now there is a change in the policy, means I have to draft a new policy for my implementation of my electrical vehicles. Now instead of petrol bunks, then even while constructing your building, I have to take a permission now. That means that is the construction permission where I am going to have a plug for my vehicle charging. So that means these are all the policies. These are all the policies we need to take. In that way, what are all the gaps are there? That means these key performance indicators are going to provide us the insights, what data to collect and standard data collection, how to collect the data, and what are the gaps are there in the existing policies, how we can improve on that policies. Then shows the areas of improvement pathways to the smart sustainable cities. Okay, that is, as I mentioned, identify, develop a key set of performance indicators to assess how the use of ICT, how this information communication technology we are going to use has an impact on environmental sustainability of cities. Okay, that means now, see, when I'm using the ICT for every my services, urban services, that means no doubt it is going to make the urban service more effective and efficient. But at the same time, I have to see the EMF, that electromagnetic forces they are emitting, the radiations and all those things, the technology what we are using, they should be minimum. Okay, that means we should have a more positive environmental sustainability when I use the ICT. In that way, I have to look into. Okay. Impact of use of ICT project in the cities. That means we need to, that means for every city, we need to develop a documentation for that, how exactly it works. Now, KPIs, key performance indexes for smart sustainable cities. As you know, ICT is the main, that is why it is at the center place, ICT. That means there are 14 indicators, as I already discussed with you in the previous slides. So covering network facilities, information facilities. Then second is environmental sustainability. It is having another 14 indicators. There we are talked about environment and energy, natural resources. Then productivity, how to improve the productivity of the people or industry or business. Okay, covering that is innovation, economic sustainability. Then quality of life, 22, covering convenience, comfort, security, safety, health, education, training. Then equity and social inclusion. So covering openness and public participation, social sustainability, and governance sustainability are the very two important things in equity and social inclusion. Equity means distribution of anything for everyone, not equal distribution. It is as per the minimum, where in that way any people are living in that particular city, they must have that equity in that. They have the share of that, whether it's small or big, but they must have a share of the resources. Okay. Then social inclusion, every strata is included. We are having, that is a civil domain, that is a physical infrastructure, the buildings, the transportation, roads, bridges, flyovers, then distribution networks, drainage systems, sewerage systems, that is all they are going to have. And then if you compare that, where this ICT is the center, and it is the one which is going to enhance the environmental sustainability, infrastructure development, productivity, equity and social inclusion, and then quality of life. That is why it is mentioned in the center portion of the circle. So it is how exactly it's going to have. Then how we are going to engage these stakeholders. As you know, stakeholders, many stakeholders, but the main stakeholders of smart city or smart sustainable city are citizens. Okay, then second main stakeholder is municipalities, because they are the people who are executing all the projects related to smart cities. And then prior to that, there is an urban planner. So based on that urban planning, that means we talk about in the smart city mission, the government of India has asked the proposal, SCP, smart city proposals. So in the smart city proposal, they are talking about retrofitting, redevelopment, greenfield development, pan city. These are the 4 options they have given. Based on your city, that particular municipal corporation has to look into detailed investigation. They may appoint the PMCs, or they may do on their own if the resources are available, human resources are available at the reach. Then ultimately they have to look into their genuine problems and all those things, and then they can work out whether they go for a retrofitting in 500 heart of the city, 500 acres, or whether they go for a redevelopment. Entire redevelopment means it is totally, suppose if there is center of the place, there is a slum area is there, then ultimately they want to redevelop it. Then you have to go for that, means either you have to rehabilitate those people, that is a provision is there, or they have to make portion of them as affordable housing. In that way, we need to go for the redevelopment. Then we'll be having what is known as greenfield development. It is the outskirts of the city. That means now the slum dwellers, if they are ready to move from the city, center of the city to the outskirts, then you are going to provide them the affordable housings and all those things. So then pan city are nothing but, for example, the traffic. That is for the entire city. That is catering to the, not to the particular locality. It is for the entire city. Now, if I want to solve the problem of transportation issues of the Bengaluru city, now I have to look into it is as a city as a whole. Okay, that is the traffic congestion is not in only one part of the city. It is city as a whole. So now I have to look into, I have to take this project as a pan city. So either I have to use the ICTE, I have to identify what are all the possibilities of the route alteration, or whether I'm going to have some other source of transportation, whether I'm going to have the metros, or whether I'm going to have subways or suburban railways I'm going to have, or I'm going to provide a BRTS. So that is how exactly looking, that means each city, that means that is why it is given to the particular municipal corporation. The municipal corporation, that is, they have to identify in which direction they want to develop, whether it is a retrofitting, redevelopment, greenfield development, or it is a pan city. And then based on that, they have to submit that proposal. That is already they have submitted, and every city has got sanctioned. And now many of them have done already projects in that way. Then you will be having the national, state government, urban planners, then that is the industries are the people who are going to give the resources, and then academia and scientific community is going to give you the skills and also innovation, technology, and all those things. And then standard bodies are very, very important. The standard bodies are nothing but it's now we are going to have the International Telecommunication Union. That means that is how these all your sensors, CCTV cameras, or modems, and all those things related, the hardware part of related to ICT, what is the standardization of those? That will look into by this standardization bodies. Okay, so now this is actually how the city is going to collect the data and the smart buildings, smart water management, and all those things. It is entirely through ICT. Okay. Then again, this ICT smart water management in cities. Okay. Hello, Navnita.
Sir?
I'm exceeding time now.
Sir, 4 o'clock
Whether I'll take another 15 minutes is okay, because we have lost that 15 minutes somewhere. That okay. Is it okay? Is it okay from your side, or?
Sir, it's okay, but
yes, sir.
it's difficult to answer for question and answers. Discussion we may miss.
Okay, then means we'll move fast now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. By 4:10,
okay, then,
if you kindly finish, it will be
5 minutes.
By 4:10, you can finish, sir. 4 o'clock.
Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you.
Okay. Sir.
Okay. So I'll skip something then because I'm going to explain how exactly we are using ICT smart water management in cities. Okay, now it is the integration of what? That intelligent solutions in urban water management, and then this technology we are going to use. So all these technologies we are going to use in our smart city management. Okay, smart pipes, smart sensors and networking, all those things. You look into this figure, then this is smart integration. So remote monitoring solutions and all those things, then that is going to provide me lower operational cost definitely. So that means we are monitoring at online and everything. Then water quality and reliability will be improved. Then green water systems, that means sewage, reuse of wastewater, that is especially the sewage in domestic area. Then increase customer choice and control. Then more reliable data and ability to share this data. Okay. Then again, same case with the climate change. Definitely, we're going to have the adoption to the climate change. So we're going to have a hazard mapping or urban risk reduction and public awareness. Then urban capacity building, we're going to improve upon that. Then stakeholder and community involvement. So in that way, this integrating with ICT and in the city sectors, these are all your urban planning and all those things. They are the part of your disaster management plan and all those things. Then warning system, security measurements and all those things. That is how exactly we can reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. Thereby we can have the climate change reduction as well as adoption to the climate change also. So in this basis, again, these are this, yes, I'm talking about the cyber security because everything is connected. Now this is what is the security. You can have security of everything. Physical environment security, system security, network security, data application security. There are different layers, sensing layers, that is sensors. Then you are having a communication layers, your fiber optical cables or Wi-Fi's. Then data layer where you are going to store the data. Then from that data will go to the app layers in that way, and that will be communicated for each and every utility, whether it is medical, traffic, travel. So that is where the security architecture of smart sustainable city, that's very, very important. That is how the protection is going to be there. Then overview, these are how the ICT is going to play an important role in the ICT was an enabler to build smart sustainable cities that uses resources efficiently, energy cost, foster energy savings, and all those things, reduce environmental footprint. So these are all the ICT architecture of the smart sustainable cities. So you are having natural environment, already I have discussed in one of my slides there. Then you're going to have a physical infrastructure. Then you are going to have the ICT infrastructure. Then it will go to the users in that way. So actually you can give, this is the best example of creating a duct infrastructure for smart city. Okay, so now you see, now every time they are digging the road for maintenance and all those things, in that we are going to provide a duct where first is a storm sewer down, then there will be sewerage, then there will be if there is any heating and cooling, that is not there in our part, it is there in Western countries. Now drinking water or gas pipes, yes, they are go here. Then electric and optical pavers, that will be there. This is how exactly we can plan, and then definitely it's going to be sustainable. That means again and again we are not doing, then it is with respect to economy, with respect to environment, with respect to social. When the social means there is no leakage or there is no hazard, there is no open access in that way, this will be protected. In that way we can do. So that means actually I have got this slide is very, very important, how exactly this ICT enabled governance for sustainability is going to work. So that is governance level and then level of unsustainability. In the y-axis, I have taken the governance level of unsustainability. As I compared with conventional cities is nothing but traditional cities with the smart and smart sustainable cities. Both I have included here. So now this is the graph. See, when we talk about the conventional cities, so that is we talk about the governance 1. So what is that governance 1? I'm going to tell here. Then governance 2, governance 3, or governance 4. You look into this. Governance 1 talks about this. You look into this particular graph, see service, everything is controlled by urban local bodies. So initially everything is fine, everything is sustainable. After certain years, it becomes unsustainable. So that is how the unsustainability goes up. Okay, but whereas in the government too, there is a public-private partnership. That is nothing but the participation of the public citizens. Participation is there, but it is there up to a certain level. Then if somebody is not going to motivate that and retain that, again, it's going to decline. it's going to drop down. So that is why the governance 2, in the governance 2, we can go up to this level of unsustainability. Now in governance 1, it will go to up this level. And in the governance 3, now everything is monitored by ICT. There is no fatigue, there is no nothing. That means if it is exactly monitored and executed, then ultimately only the decision, the part of the decision is taken is subjective. That is why it will go to up to this level, level of unsustainability. Then if you go for the what is known as the governance 4, means even the decision is also be taken by, and then the execution also be taken by robotics or social robots. Then ultimately it's governance 4. So in the governance 4, the level of unsustainability is going to be reduced considerably. Okay, in that way. So that is why the governance 4 is yet to come. Here we are still in the governance 1 only. Still governance 2 is not exactly we are implementing in that way. How exactly we can do? This is what I am talking about, the governance 3, big data, IoT, cloud computing, then smart governance, city governance, what we can do. So in that way, social application sensors I'm going to monitor. These are all the inputs for my decision making. Okay, here I'm going to have a smart governance. Based on that information, I'm going to collaborate with citizens and everything. I take a decision, informed decisions only. Now I'm going to implement that. Then stimulate impact sensors, enhance citizen eccentricity, then deliver smart services, improve quality of life. This is the smart outcome. Actually, this is smart governance 3, GO3 and above. It will be like this. Okay. Now, smart sustainable cities, as you know, this is how you can to recycle organic waste and all those things. In addition to that, that is again, you try to reuse whatever the waste and all those things are there. In that way, in the summary, I can come. That is the assessment of smart city performance. Okay, output indicators. Not only use output indicators, measure the efficiency of deployment of smart solutions, but impact indicators. That is impact indicators. How it is impacting, positive impact or negative impact. That is on whom? On these 3 dimensions of sustainability: environment, economic, and social. Then again, city residents, non-profit organizations. So understand this respect to ICT impacts. Okay, this is all about the summary. And as I know, that is Jago equation is there. That is how we can increase the sustainability, environmental capacity, minus rate of resource consumption, and then waste assimilating capacity we have to do. Then ultimately we'll be having the sustainability towards positive, and then definitely it's going to have a sustainable world. So again, I'm a very strong follower of this ASC principles. Principle 1, do the right project, and principle 2, do the project right. If it is possible, then only we can create sustainable, smart, sustainable cities. Okay, these are the sustainable goals, what I'm talking about. That is the 11th, I have talked about 11th sustainable goal. And this is all, thank you one and all. And then I end over here my presentation.